This thing is really working.
Oh, really?
For me. Yeah, really working for me.
You didn't even tell me the first few. I had like fly away hair up there. So, all right.
Okay, it is happy hour somewhere, so it's time for Drinking Dusties.
That's my favorite part of the week.
Absolutely, mine too.
Yeah,
even when we're
great.
doing it every day.
Yeah.
So,
what's your name?
my name is Steve Russell.
Oh, I'm Charles Cox.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, no, it's
all
not.
right. So this is where we check out old dusty bottles of bourbon that we find in various places, explain where we got them, and check out if they have really maintained their beautiful flavor, maybe developed more, or maybe should have been stayed in the sands of time.
And even more importantly, we go in a little bit deeper into the stories behind them, learn about the people who made them, the companies made them, because sometimes it's a freaking mystery where these came from. But most importantly, we get to taste them.
Absolutely. That is our purpose here. We crack them open and drink them for you. We do it for you.
Yeah, it's all a service.
Absolutely.
Community service.
But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about how people right up front, if they haven't done so far, they're obviously watching the video, so you're really close to being able to press the subscribe button.
It's right down there in the corner. Press it, subscribe, because it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us immeasurably because we have very poor self-esteem.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, speaking of the social medias, you can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram for little previews we give, little hints we give about what dusties we have coming up, and sometimes
just some bonus content.
Yeah, content we don't do here, that kind of thing.
Stuff when we're just hanging out in a bar, finding some dusties that we try. We just did that. We just did that in Louisville. But most importantly, we want people to get on Patreon and support us with a donation. Obviously, you don't have to. All this content's free. But itty bitty donation helps us a lot because these bottles all cost money. We don't get them for free. We don't get them sent to us. We buy them ourselves. So we would love that support to help fund our very valuable enterprise.
Keep us from being shoplifters. Help us out. All right. So.
Oh, but we should mention why people should support us on Patreon. Almost forgot.
Quite a good reason.
So the best reason you should support us on Patreon is we're going to bribe you. Yeah. Okay, so every week we will pick a viewer to get one of our awesome Dusties, a sample sent to them. So we will be sending out this sample from our third episode because we, of course, filmed some episodes before we had patrons. But we're sending this to one of our patrons on Patreon, the Jack Daniel's 1979 90 proof. It was fantastic.
It was an
Absolutely
eye-opener.
Loved it. We were really blown away by this. So this is coming out to one of our followers on Patreon. So
now we are moving on to yet another Dusty that I have here in the box of mystery.
I can smell the dust.
Really?
Yeah,
oh, wow. I don't know if it's that dusty, but you ready to check it out?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Boom. Oh.
I was smelling the desert, apparently.
Yes, it was an arid.
Speaking of the sands of time.
Smell. So, it's another one that had a box inside a box. I apologize for that.
Okay, so not long ago, you deceived me by giving me a whiskey that purported to be from Hawaii, but was actually from Kentucky. This purports to be from Utah.
Yes.
Which is a big... Well, actually, they do make whiskey with the High West.
Right.
I don't think this is really from Utah, is
it? It is not. So this is Monument Valley. I'm going to go ahead and bust it out so we can see the bottle.
I've actually heard of... No, I have never heard of it. This is... did you make this yourself?
I crocheted the box. But she's a pretty bottle. I like her.
Well, it's certainly, if you like, that's cheesy, man. I'm sorry.
I like it.
What does that line say?
Okay. What does that line say?
I would rather be back to Monument Valley, not back in.
Which maybe makes you think this is like a foreign bottle. And
it definitely sounds like it was translated from Japanese.
It kind of is, but it is. This is a Kentucky-made bourbon.
Okay.
And I'll tell you a little more story about that. But yes, this was a Japanese export bottle during that era, all the way from the 90s and early 2000s, when there was a lot of older bourbons being bottled by various bottlers and distillers and sent to a market that actually wanted it. Japan.
We should point out that that's like Japan basically kept our bourbon industry alive for a long time. When Americans stopped buying bourbon, the Japanese kept buying it, and so companies were desperately sending their whiskey over there, getting the Japanese to buy it.
Right.
And luckily, we can sometimes get some of it.
So this is I did one a few episodes ago that was even very odd, King Kamehameha, which was made by a Heaven Hill bottle. Again, did not say Heaven Hill anywhere on it, but various clues told us that it was Heaven Hill. I was fascinated to know whether perhaps it was a pre-fire Heaven Hill, kind of a mythical thing. We drank it. It was actually really, really good. It
was excellent.
It was surprising. It was very interesting bourbon. But there was no way truly by following the math or any other clues to know. It was right on the border of being able to know whether it was pre-fire Heaven Hill. guess what? I think this one has a better shot of possibly being pre-Fire Heaven Hill.
Whoa.
Even though it was not a Heaven Hill released bottle.
Okay, that's really confusing.
So anyway.
Because it says it's from the Monument Valley Distilling Company of
indeed.
Bardstown.
Yes. Fascinating, eh? But Bardstown is key.
I've visited Bardstown. I don't remember Monument Valley.
You didn't pass by it? So right, as we pointed before, right down the road, very close to Heaven Hill, the Heaven Hill Experience now, is Willett Distillery.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
That's where I got this shirt.
Oh.
Paid for it. They did not give it to me. Just pointing that out. It's not an ad.
So
I like the shirt.
I'll go ahead and jump back in time a little bit on the Willett story. Okay. Willett, like Heaven Hill, right next door, and several other distilleries, was started immediately after Prohibition. Right. When there was a void that needed to be filled in the market, and maybe after that time off in Prohibition, people were ready to maybe do it, a little more businesslike and to get going. Right. Okay. So all right. So you had the Willets, whose time in Kentucky goes back before that and back to Europe, and they start that distillery in 1936 in Bardstown on some of the highest property on a hill in Nelson County. Right.
So the view from up there, we were there.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It was fantastic.
Really nice. So it does pretty well. I don't think it's ever like one of the big players. And that's why I don't think you see a lot of old dusty Willett bottles that are early 2000s and that kind of stuff.
It's a brand that seems to have gotten recent recognition among
more so
whiskey fans, but not back then.
But it was very respectable. Made good bourbon. Old Bardstown brand back then was probably their biggest brand was Old Bardstown, but then the whiskey glut comes in the 60s and the 70s, and it seems to hit Willett really hard. They basically, try to struggle through, but in the 70s actually cease making whiskey, cease making bourbon, and try their hands at making basically industrial alcohol, using the equipment to make industrial alcohol. Well, unfortunately, that was a bad bet because right then is when you also have the energy crisis, and there's no market, and there's no market for that.
0 for 2.
Right, 0 for 2. So the whole thing shuts down.
Okay.
Right, but they still have the property, they still have all the equipment. Right, and then interestingly enough, a gentleman by the name of Evan Kulsveen, who had immigrated from Norway as a teenager.
No way.
Yes. Charles likes
Love
that.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. He had been living in the United States and Kentucky since he was a teenager. Okay. But he marries into the family, marries Martha Kulsveen in the 70s. And in 1984, together, that couple decides to get things going again. And that's a brave decision because it wasn't like they're looking at things are coming back.
Right, that was a really rough time.
Really rough time. So they start pretty small. There are some stocks that are still there that they're able to use, but pretty quickly they have to turn to sourcing bourbon from other places. Very common practice, goes on everywhere. And so what they were going, the name at that time, I don't really know why they weren't using Willett at that time, but the name was, and it's something that bourbon nerds know about now. It's Kentucky Bourbon Distillers.
Okay, KBD.
KBD.
I hear KBD all the time.
Right. Okay. So this is
that and Willett are synonymous.
They are synonymous. Okay. Right. Absolutely. Especially at that time, and then later on, they more formally start using the Willett name again. I think in 2012, I think is when they started using Willett again. I think I might be wrong about that date, but I think that's about right.
I'll put the correct number on screen.
Yeah, please do. So there's an era there where they're sourcing a lot of things, and then Evan Kulsveen is both creating new. First of all, they bring back some of their previous labels using the exact same labels they were way back. Yeah, you betcha. Way back, like Old Bardstown. This is essentially the same label they used in the 40s, and they bring that back. At the same time, Evan Kulsveen, a very talented guy in lots of ways, just hand draws some new labels.
He drew that himself?
Yeah, he drew that. Rowan's Creek, he also drew the label for that. So just draw stuff using his own skills and paper laying around. So I really love this bottle. I took advantage of one.
I just love how so much of their stuff, even today, still feels handmade and
absolutely
beautiful.
Yeah, as we've said before, Willett is a little endearingly weird.
Even their fancy really sought after bottles we have one here, even that kind of stuff feels very I mean it's professional and it's fancy, but it's still very
so this you recognize really as a traditional whiskey bottle shape, right but these bottles and stuff are literally when he starts, getting stuff.
A wine bottle, basically.
Yeah, wine, cognac bottles. That's what he was using because actually he was more familiar with that kind of stuff. So he's
Norwegian. Right. He's good at recycling.
Right, exactly.
They love the environment.
So he uses those bottles, but at the same time that he's sort of, revisiting the the lore before and starting some new labels, interesting, labels. He also realizes, like some other distillers, they are having luck exporting to Japan.
Okay.
So he's not going to ignore that, right?
Right.
So we get some bottles like that. This is one of them. We can only guess why it's called Monument Valley and has a picture of, Western imagery on it.
Well, if you're selling to a country like Japan, who experiences America a lot through movies and TV, he was probably appealing to people who are fans of Gunsmoke or John Wayne movies or stuff like. I can see why they would use that imagery.
Right.
But tying it to Kentucky is a little. But I guess if you're in Japan, you don't necessarily know that.
Absolutely.
Utah's over here and Kentucky's over here. Why would you care?
And I think those other bottles we've seen before on auctions and stuff that have pictures of outlaws and cowboys on them.
Right.
Maybe had shown some good sales, things of that. Right. So give it a shot. Those bottles from 1999.
This one.
Yeah, okay. 1999.
Got it. It looks so much older with this cheesy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And where that came from, I honestly don't know. I don't think anybody drew that from the hand of the taste. And it's a 12-year-old bourbon in here.
Okay.
Right.
Wow. That's a good age for that time.
Right.
99.
Yeah. And interesting to me, like sort of some of the other people did, like Heaven Hill, for instance. It never even says Kentucky Bourbon Distillers on this bottle anywhere.
Right. It says Monument Valley Distilling Company.
Using the same kind of naming convention that Heaven Hill did.
Yeah. This is a fine Kentucky bourbon whiskey distilled from a time-tested formula and aged by natural means only to assure a quality product. That is 100% bullshit. Does not say anything actually meaningful.
Right.
Doesn't mean the whiskey's bad. I'm just saying.
I do like sort of the plain straight ahead nature of that on the back. And,
I love that this label too, as somebody who's worked in publishing, it utilizes about 8 or 9 different fonts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, starting up
no
here,
consistency.
This looks like to me it's from a different era. Honestly, this looks like it's from a whole different era than this down here to me. So 1999, 12-year-old bourbon. We know it's not Willett bourbon.
Okay.
So
not KBD.
Not KBD made bourbon. So more than likely it came from the friendly neighbors next door. Heaven Hill.
Oh, Heaven Hill, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're literally right
next
door.
Yep. And we know that Willett did source quite a bit of stuff from Heaven Hill during that era when they were sourcing from other people.
I wonder if Heaven Hill felt some, when the fire happened and Willett was one of the groups that was helping them out, if they needed to return the favor.
What's interesting to me is the fact that that Heaven Hill would still do that, because obviously they had, as we know, had lost 40,000, or whatever, however much was bourbon in their fire in '96.
As you said, 2%
of the world's whiskey supply in one horrible night.
But as we've seen, it's weird because these companies compete with each other, right? So you'd expect them to have their guarded secrets, whatever, that makes sense. But they also help each other out, which is strange.
In this case, I think very much, because even the proximity, they were just so close.
They're next door neighbors.
You can just walk around the corner to those.
Yeah.
So almost assuredly, this comes from Heaven Hill, and you do the math on that. 99, take 12 years off of that, and you're absolutely pretty fired. That's
1987. I'll help you out. Sorry.
Thank goodness. I mean, I prepared for this segment, but not that much.
So this was distilled in 1987.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. So there. So I 100%. Pre-fire Heaven. 100% pre-fire. Pretty darn sure. It's Heaven Hill.
Well, no, regardless of where it's from, it's before the fire.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I won't say definitively 100%.
Okay.
But general consensus seems to be.
And I will say because you did research, the Googling you did.
Yeah.
Other people who've tried this all seem to have the consensus that it was Heaven Hill.
Right.
Because I know you were excited.
So yeah. So like I said, now I'm willing. I'm
glad you made me wear my Willett shirt. It's not even Willett. I mean, it is Willett. Willett's the bottle. Yeah.
And again, so let's hey, should we give it a shot?
Wait, are you saying that I actually get to drink that Dusty? But first I have to pour and smell the thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's open her up. Just get your hands off. Honestly,
you get the honor.
Honestly, I'm pretty excited about this, guys. This is my kind of bottle. I like funky bottles with weird stories. And it just sort of speaks to me. And I'll point out, I got this one again from the same place I got the King K bottle from.
Oh, the Japanese.
This is from Japanese Drams online, which is a Japanese-based website that seems to specialize in reselling the things we sold to them back to us.
Okay, how much did you get this for?
This was $329.
Ooh, so it's a little pricier than the King K.
It's 12 years old.
12 years old.
Instead of 6 years old.
And this could legitimately be
in 1999 instead of 2003.
Okay.
So not a cheap bottle, but I couldn't resist it.
Did that include the shipping cost?
That includes shipping. When you buy from that site, that's a nice thing about it, is that the price you see on there is
it includes everything.
That is it. Again, didn't think it was going to work. It worked. Anyway.
Sat in LA for 4 weeks.
Sat in LA with the King K bottle for a while. All right, here we go, people.
Oh, do we do the pliers again?
Nope, we do not. It's going to give that snap.
Oh, that snap. Can't go back from that snap.
Can't go back from that snap. Man, give her a whiff.
That smells pretty good.
Oh, it does. It smells like bourbon.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
But to be honest, sometimes you get a skunky smell.
Okay, I'm going to pour this, and we're going to let it breathe a little bit while I take a little detour from that. Glug, glug.
I'll wait till he looks away, and then I'll just drink it.
All right, you take yours. I don't like pouring into that.
The tiny little Glencairn.
Glencairn.
So I drink from a Glencairn.
Yeah. I drink from a Glen Campbell.
Because I like how it focuses the aromas, so I can get a good whiff.
And I like this because it's a big glass. I can pour bourbon into it, and I know how to smell bourbon. So, all right. So sniff it. Tell me what you think.
That's great. It's definitely richer in its smell than
I like the color.
a couple of the ones we've had recently.
I like the color.
I don't drink color.
Doesn't have a lot of legs.
Legs are meaningless.
Yeah, I like to look at them though.
I like to use them to walk.
You're not very good. You're not very good at it.
I had ankle surgery.
It's no excuse.
You're the guy who almost died in Norway. Should have sent your remains to the Coles fiends. Yeah, that's really good.
I mean, it's not knocking me over with.
Well, it's only 80 proof,
right?
So
that's true.
And we should point that out. So a lot of people who are really into whiskey would not want a whiskey this low in proof. People now, I don't understand why. To be honest, people go for these hazmat whiskeys that are 140 proof.
Some of them are really good.
Some of them are good, but they burn like a mofo. So this will be a little more refined.
Right. And that King K we drank that was so good, it was 86. This is below that. This is getting close to what I'm like,
Well,
we can't get
below 80.
That.
It can't be a whiskey, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. So anyway, while we let it breathe a little bit, I'm not you probably need to let an 80 proof breathe for that long, but still, want to take you back to 1999.
He got his spectacles out. He's serious.
I got some reading to do.
Tell us more, Professor.
Yeah, absolutely, I will. So in 1999, wander back with me.
I remember those days.
Yep.
No, I don't.
The Senate acquitted President Bill Clinton on impeachment charges.
Got it.
The euro was introduced.
Okay.
JFK Jr. was killed in a plane crash.
That was Sunday. Yep.
DVD players were ending the VHS era.
I bought so many DVDs.
Yeah, now that's over now. Yeah. And toward the end of the year, everyone was freaking out about how the arrival of the year 2000 was going to confuse computer calendars and make them all go dark.
The world's going to end. We better drink all our whiskey fast.
That didn't happen, by the way.
No, it did not.
Okay, in movies, we chose to take either the blue or the red pill and watch The Matrix.
Still such a great movie.
Star Wars The Phantom Menace introduced the franchise's most popular character, Jar Jar Binks. I think I'm right on that one. Right?
I actually feel bad for that actor who played Jar Jar because he didn't sign up for the hate that he got.
And in the same year, The Sixth Sense and The Blair Witch Project scared our shorts off.
I see dead people.
I see. I'm so scared.
And Blair, those were both good.
They were very different. Kind of horror movies. Neither one of them fit into the traditional mold.
What I love is that Haley Joel Osment has grown up, but his face has not.
Exactly. All right. On TV, The Sopranos were appointment TV.
Okay. And
we were also glued to ER, Freaks and Geeks, and X-Files.
Yes, X-Files in particular for me. Yep. And Sopranos. I live in Jersey.
Right.
There you Sopranos, go. They live next door to me.
Top songs of the year included No Scrubs by TLC. A scrub is a guy who can't get no love from you.
Yeah, can't get no love from you, Steve.
No,
Yep.
Believe by Cher's voice coder thing. And Genie in a Bottle by breakout tiny pop artist Christina Aguilera.
There were definitely better songs that year.
I didn't say better, I said top.
Those are the top ones. Okay. I was not listening to Top 40 radio.
Right. All right. And just to get our testosterone back up, some sports news. The Broncos trampled the Falcons in the Super Bowl.
You did that to me on purpose, you asshole.
I did. And I'll just go ahead.
The good news is they would come back and win a Super Bowl later. No, they wouldn't. They would 28-3.
And the first season of college football's Bowl Championship Series culminated with the University of Tennessee Volunteers defeating the Florida State Seminoles. Technically, that was the 98 championship, but the game's in 1999, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick that in there.
And they're definitely going to win again this year, right, Steve?
Anyway, back to the bourbon.
Go Dogs. Go Dogs. Bulldogs all the way.
Back to the bourbon. Okay. All right.
Well, thank you for taking us down the little memory path there. I appreciate it. Memory lane.
No problem.
That was fantastic. You don't have to take off your spectacles to taste your whiskey.
I don't have to, but I want to.
I love how you've got like professional Professor Steve and then Party Steve. The glasses come on.
Those are my reading glasses. All right, let's go.
At least we're young. That does not drink like an 80 proof whiskey.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's not like it's strong or anything.
No,
but
it is slightly thin, but it's got a lot more flavor than I would expect from 80 proof.
Absolutely.
And a nuance of flavor.
Mm-hmm. It's nice whiskey.
It is very nice. It's sweet. It's definitely on the sweeter side, but it's still got a little bit of an edge, but it doesn't have the heavy, there's not the rye spices. You don't get a lot of cinnamon.
Yeah.
I know. We've got some feedback that I always say it tastes like cinnamon. This is more sweet than.
Okay, I meant to add, and we were talking about the King. I'm gonna jump into the King K because there's just a lot of stuff to talk about between these two things. The funny thing, but of course, being the
is it there?
Right there.
There it is. King K.
Yep.
Right.
A couple videos for us, but you can definitely find it in our line of videos
if I publish them in the right order.
So Heaven Hill bourbon that was possibly made somewhere else.
Yeah.
And Kentucky Bourbon Distillers bourbon that was probably almost definitely made by Heaven Hill.
This is so confusing. Yeah.
Well, welcome to Kentucky. So I almost
12-year, 6-year.
I almost meant to ask
80 proof, 86
that about this, but I'm not sure either one of these distillers did this back in the day. Could these possibly be weeded?
I guess it's possible, but
I don't think so.
Well, here's the thing. Bourbons have been weeded. They just didn't make a big deal about it because people weren't clamoring for it. Now that everybody's clamoring for it, everybody's saying, "Oh, we've got this weeded."
I'm not sure Heaven Hill even ever did a weeded until it became a thing.
I don't.
Because they were traditionally a higher rye.
I'm not getting a lot of that quintessential wheat sweetness, but also with a little graininess. And there's not a lot of rye spice either. I'm thinking these are just primarily corn.
Okay.
With a little bit of.
It's just to me. Again, this could be totally because they're a lower proof, but it's just striking me how soft they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're soft and they are sweet. So my head goes a little bit to like, could it be weeded? Then again, I don't think the history and the time period supports that. But to me, it's almost like I'm drinking something that reminds me of a weeded whiskey a little bit.
I can't tell you you're wrong. Yeah. And maybe it turns out that this is a weeded, but I
don't
think so. I think it's primarily corn. Yeah. Maybe a little bit of rye, a little bit of malted barley, just to balance out the flavors. But it doesn't. Yeah. There's so little in the way of spice there.
Mm. Yeah, you're right.
It's very sweet. You get more tannins in this. I do like this a little better than the King K.
Oh, see, it's got a little more I like the King K a little bit better.
Interesting.
Yeah, really close, and and they have a lot of similarities.
Right.
I just thought the King K had a little deeper flavor than this did.
Well, obviously, we need to drink a lot more of it because we haven't had much of either one.
I'm just going to mix them together. I think then we'll have the perfect bourbon.
Throw them in the blender, whip it up.
Throw them in the blender, whip them up.
Some ice cream.
Some bananas.
Yeah, let's make mudslides.
Fantastic. But, so another, honestly, we did well again.
Yeah.
It's.
Do you say Weller? Don't throw another.
Sorry.
Another distiller in there.
I didn't. But yeah, we're doing pretty well. We would tell you on this if we didn't like them.
No, I will say, knowing what you paid for it, I wouldn't get that at that price.
Better value.
Definitely better
King
value.
K's a better value.
Yeah, and we've obviously found some other bottles or even, but as you know, when you're hunting Dusties, the value you get is a crapshoot, right? Because sometimes there are other people bidding if you're in an online auction or something, or you're at you found it in a store that's charging a premium, and sometimes you look out like with our old granddad that we got for $7. We want more of those,
right?
Yeah, I mean it's great. It's great. I'm very glad I got to try it.
Yeah, like I said, especially because I think I like the King K just a little bit more. That's a better value. But and it's amazing to me that how much flavor is in that 6-year. This is a 12-year, and I don't think it knocks it out for flavor.
It definitely has a little bit more wood to it, though.
Yeah.
I can definitely taste a little woodiness.
Right.
It's not the super antique woodiness we've gotten from some of the Dusties. It's also definitely not that craft bourbon, like licking a 2x4, like treated lumber woodiness that you always hear me complain about.
Absolutely.
This is in between those two. It's a very pleasant.
Right.
But you know it was in a barrel. You know it was in a wooden barrel.
I'm super happy with it actually. Yeah. So absolutely.
All right, so this is fantastic.
Yep. All right. So this is the kind of thing, like I said, we're charging ahead on getting bottles you heard of, bottles you haven't heard of.
Yeah, we love those.
Having fun on the way. So we'll next time we'll have some more. Before then, please again, if you look right down right now, hit that subscribe button. Please. Check us out on Patreon, and
make sure you support us.
Maybe
so you can get one of these bottles sent your way.
Maybe just throw a little bit of green our way.
Yeah, and we'll send you. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get all the latest content from us. But
until then, keep it dusty. Cheers.
Skull.
All right.
Yes. Skull to you guys.
Yeah, Norwegian connection.
Thank you.